put a link to this character. Basically, animating a walk cycle is pretty straightforward. All you have to do is just use your reference and match these poses. The thing with walk cycles is that it can really look off very easily. It looks weird right now. Okay, I think I found why it is off here. Okay, so I'm just going to open up Blender 4.3. I'm just going here, open a new scene. I'm going to use this reference for the animation. This image is like really easy to get on Google. You just go reference, and it's actually the first image you'll get. So yeah, don't hesitate to leave a review after you get it. It's really nice to have some people making these really beautiful models for free. Thanks to XX4. I'll just append the edition. CH Spidey. I'll just go to scripting, select the script, and run it. Normally you should see this. Now we'll get the UI. Hide the bones we won't need. I'm going to use the arms, but I want the IK, so I don't have to go through every bone. Reduce this slider to 0. Now select IK, and I'll do the same for the left arm. For this simple animation, I don't really need that much details, but I'll just use the IK much faster. Basically, animating a walk cycle is pretty straightforward. All you have to do is just use your reference and match these poses. Okay, so I'm just going to pose the model now, disable the X mirror. So this is the first pose we're going to start with, which is the contact pose. This is the pose that initiates the walk cycle. It is actually one of the main poses of the walk cycle. So if you pay close attention to this reference, we have 5 poses, but these 2 actually are the same poses. You can actually have something that resembles a walk cycle, just with a contact pose, a passing pose, and another contact pose. It's actually one of the most important poses of the walk cycle, so it's really important to do it right. The thing with walk cycles is that it can really look off very easily. While it's actually simple, it's not that simple. I'm not really going to animate the fingers, not for now at least, make them look more relaxed. I forgot to turn on the timer. I don't want to spend too much time trying to polish this. Just want to make a really basic tutorial, or sort of let's animate. Yeah, we won't need to polish this as much. So I'll just use this bone here to have this inclination here we have at the bottom of the feet. You don't hesitate to switch between the different views, so you can make sure the pose looks right from all the angles. So here I'm going on the front view. I'll try to place the legs closer together so the character has some sort of balance and is standing firmly on the ground. And right now we can see that it looks like it's leaning backward a bit. Try to just rotate also forward, and I'll just move the hands too much on the side. It looks about right to me. And I forgot to hide the IK bone, the FK, sorry, the arms. After I'm done posing the character, I'll just press A to select all the bones involved, and I'll just press I now to create a keyframe, and we have our first pose. And you know that this pose we won't have to do it again when we get here, because we'll just copy it and paste it. But when we'll get there, I'll show you. So actually we only have this pose, 1, 2, 3. We only have 3 poses left for this walk cycle to be complete. Yeah, it's literally that simple. If you don't need to polish it any further, but you can make it as complex as you want to. You need more realism or more secondary movement, and I don't really need all that. So I'm just gonna go and make this down pose 4 frames later. I'm used to animate these walk cycle on 4s. You can try something else if you want it to be, I don't know, faster or much slower. It works well for me, so I usually do it this way. And so for the down pose, it's the pose where the character is at its lowest point. So I'm just gonna go and select this torso controller, and I'll just press Alt R to cancel the rotation here, keeping this walk really casual. So I'm not going to make this pose as accentuated as this one. Move it a bit forward. Why does it look like he's wearing sneakers? Yeah, whatever. So I'll just make this one go off the ground. So for that, I'll just select this same bone here. That's R. So now we can take it off the ground, move it up like this. Like it should be leaning more forward, or maybe just this leg needs to come back behind. The arms are the furthest apart during this down pose. I'll just move it a bit more, and the torso will be rotated opposite to the leg that's off the ground. It needs to come a bit forward. Seems about right to me. I'll just press A, then I to create a keyframe. You know what? I'll just press A to select all the keyframes and change the interpolation to constant. So you can visualize it without the interpolation. In constant, there is no interpolation between the keyframes. So it goes from this pose to this pose. Actually, I think this leg on this pose here should be a bit more forward. I'll press I to override it. Yeah, I prefer this. Okay, so now let's move on to the next pose, which is the passing, the second most important pose. 4 frames later, bring this leg here, cancel the movement of this bone, dorsal bone, to bring it back to its initial position. And actually, during this passing pose, the head is a bit higher than the contact pose, so we need to bring the dorsal bone a bit higher. This leg is about to go behind, so it should be right here at the center, so the character can still have some balance. And I'll just bring this forward as it's preparing to take over. The heel should be pointing for the direction that it came from, showing that it just took off from the ground. And let me just check at the front if it's looking right. Okay, it is. And the torso is going to start to go back to its neutral position. It should actually be at its neutral position. So I'll just press Alt plus R and rotate it back. The same for the arms, they go back to the neutral position here. If you want to go to the opposite position of this view here, all you have to do is press 9. It will show you the opposite view right here. I'll just try to make it look more relaxed. Looks good to me. And now I'll just do the same. Select all and press I to create a keyframe. Let's see how it looks like so far. Okay, final pose is the up pose. Guys, you won't believe it. I just realized I was not recording for like past, I don't know, 10 minutes, which is quite unfortunate. It's okay, I'll just explain and go over what I just did. So yeah, I just finished posing the character. It's the highest pose of the whole walk cycle. Place this leg behind as it is going to leave the place for this leg that's going to take over for the next contact pose, which we are not going to create again. I have already done the process, but I'll just delete this keyframe so we can go over it again together, since we were interrupted earlier. So what I just did there is that I just went back to this initial keyframe of the contact pose, this one that we had already created, but this time this was with left leg. What we need right now is a contact pose with the right leg, which is just this leg that's going to get into this pose. But we don't have to do it all over again. All we have to do is, with all these bones selected, just go click here on pose and click on copy pose, and then we're going to move here. And about the marker, if you're wondering why it is here, I was explaining it off camera. I just like to add a marker here, about here, and to serve as a mirror, so I don't get mixed up on what keyframes I need to mirror. And I'll just create a marker, and you can rename it whatever you want. And I just call it mirror, so I know where to place the next poses. Click on pose, copy pose. I'll just go here. So we stopped at frame 12. I'll just go 4 frames later, which is 16. I'll click on pose again, then choose, paste pose, flip this, and then press I. And just like that, we have our new contact pose without creating the pose manually again. And we're going to do the same for the other poses. So right after this pose, we're going to go here and copy this pose, and we're going to do the process until we go back right before the initial contact pose. That we're going to mark the end of our cycle, okay? All right, so same process here. I'll just go to this keyframe here, select the keyframe, click on pose, copy pose, and I'll come here 4 frames later, and well, let's see. I'll click on pose again and paste the pose flipped, press I, right? And we're going to do this for the next pose, which was passing pose. I'll go again, copy pose, and 24, pose, paste pose flipped, and press I again. And the next pose is going to be the up pose, but this time with the right leg, which is the last pose here, right? Yeah, this one. So we're at the end of our mirror. I'll just do the same, copy pose. 28, right? 28, pose, paste pose flipped, and press I. And just like that, we are done. We already have the walking motion. So obviously it looks a bit too stiff, but yeah, just with the basic poses, we have a cycle, and it's cycling perfectly. And right now it's obviously because we are set in constant interpolation, but there's no interpolation between the keyframes. If you want interpolation, select all the keyframes and press D, choose linear or Bezier if you want, okay? And this with this we will have a normal interpolation. So there you go. It's the cycle. You can polish it. This is a bit too light, I'd say. Call it a finished work cycle. Just go back to the bone you want to fix, for example. Let's say here, say you want to rotate the torso a bit to the right? Just select the bone, rotate it, and press I, and just like that, it's going to override the pose. I don't know if you really want to do that. It looks weird, you know. There's something that looks off also on the way he sways his arms. I think I found what's the problem, why it is off here. Where arms cross here, it seems like it's repeating this movement here, right? And the problem is after this pose here, for the next contact pose, it is not supposed to go back here. It's supposed to go further apart right after this pose. And the issue is that we started with a contact pose, so we did whatever we thought was good, and that's the reason why. Yeah, now you see it's less doing that movement. It was repeating. And there's something else we need to fix here, which is the front pose here. I did it for a few frames, but I forgot it for some others. And here, see that there is a moment here between here and here, and the leg goes to the side, here straight on the axis. So I just place it here and override it. And I need to do the same for the other leg, try to make it look more relaxed. Okay, looks like I fixed it. There should be a bit of secondary movement, I think, make it look more natural. The straight fingers don't really help here. Maybe I'll try to make him just close his fist. So for that, let me just get rid of this. And I'll hide all the rest. I'll come here and I'll delete all these for this hand, and I'll just delete all these. But for this, I'm gonna use directly the master if I can. Perfect. Create a giver for this one. I should do the same for this, and I'll just use this directly. Okay, it's better now. So I'll show you quickly how you can loop this forever if you want. Once you're satisfied with your animation, you can tweak it a little further and animate the pelvis here, because when he's standing on one foot here, when he's standing on this foot, you should have the pelvis rotate like this. Slightly. He's putting pressure on this foot that makes this pelvic tilt on this side. It should be higher. We need to make sure it doesn't look too feminine, because when it's for women, it's more accentuated. In real life, not all women have those exaggerated walk, but usually in animation it is exaggerated to show that it's a feminine character. But for a male character, it's just going to be slightly visible. So we can actually do that. I'll just go to all the poses that have that involved. This one requires that. Here it's going to be more pronounced. And after that, you can animate the head if you want. Okay, tilting on either side, I don't know, or just bouncing back. I won't go that far. I'm just gonna go ahead and show you how you can loop this forever. And for that, I'm just going to extend this a little further. So right now we are at the last frame of the animation. And for the loop, I'm going to actually duplicate the first. I think there are some bones that are missing here. The IK arms and the IK legs. And what else? Jiggle. What jiggle? Oh, I didn't know there were jiggle. I see what you're doing. You thought you were slick. Okay, so I'm just going to select all this, and I'll duplicate actually this pose and place it right at the end, so that the loop doesn't break and stutter at the end. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm going to select all these and all the bones involved. We don't really need the root bone, okay? But you can add it in if you want. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go to open the dub sheet, select action editor, and I'll just name this whole cycle. And then I'll just click on the shield icon here for flag user to save it. And I'll push down, click push down, place it on the NLA editor, which stands for nonlinear animation editor. And here, normally you should see it here. Right? Why is it this long? Okay, I just found this pose, the initial pose was registered as an asset for the pose library. And that's probably why this keyframe was here. I don't know why. I'm just gonna go and tilt it. Okay, so I'll just leave that on the final video because it's good for you guys who are new to this to know that in case you face this problem, you can just go look for that, enable all the ones and select them all by pressing A. And go to the 1000th frame and delete it because you obviously don't need it. go back here, and now I can push it down, and it should have the normal length. Finally, we have the normal length, okay? And if you want to let this loop for 250 frames, all we gotta do is just go here with the strip selected, and go to repeat under action clip, and just crank this up all the way to 250 frames, and then we're done. Right? That's it. That's how you make this animation loop. Yeah, you can also add some secondary movements to the limbs, the arms, the head, tilt the shoulders and the pelvis accordingly to make it look more natural. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope it was helpful for you. See you next time.